afternoon, everyone. Well, today I'm gonna speak a little bit about sustainable travel, and well, a little bit about myself, which is not something I like very much to speak about myself. But anyways, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 16. I created my first company when I came back from the US in the 90s. Then we had the bubble of the .com. I created one of the first online stores in Spain for bookstore 2 years before Amazon. And then after that, I decided to study. I made an MBA in France, and finally I ended up working for a bank. And I ended up working for the leading bank in technology in the world. And then blockchain came out, and I became one of the early experts in blockchain in the European Union in 2014. And this is not working now. So while I was in the bank, I don't know if you saw that speech of Steve Jobs in Stanford. I imagine most of you have saw it. Basically, I put together the dots. And my daughter was coming. My wife and I, we were pregnant. Also, my partner was pregnant. His wife and him were pregnant. So at some point, I normally see the trends in very advanced, and I saw that there was a huge trend coming in climate in the world. There was a huge trend, a huge tsunami on climate that it was going to get us and our future generations, and that I would like to do and put all my grain for finding a solution for that, and I thought technology was a solution. So in 2016, early 2017, I created the first crypto asset for climate coin, that was recognized by the UN as the best solution in the world. And I've been speaking in the different forums like Davos, like United Nations headquarters, and all around the world on the different events. From there, in 2017, I met my partner, Jose, who was working in the UN for more than 15 years doing RED and 350 campaign with the UN. And we decided to create the first marketplace for climate products and climate-related products and carbon offsetting, because it was something that was coming back again. So today, well, basically, I'm going to speak how to make the travel sustainable. No? So today, I would like to make an exercise here. Imagine for 1 second, stop thinking on another thing. Imagine for 1 second that you know that in 2 months, one asteroid is going to hit the Earth. What would we be doing? We wouldn't be here, right? We wouldn't be running around. We would quit our jobs. We would be finding a way to where to hide, probably Mars if we have the money to go, or whatever other place we want to go. But we would be running around and finding solutions for something that we don't have any more solutions. So the good thing is that we got more than 20 years for solving a problem that we have, which is climate crisis or climate emergency. In 2019, 50.8 billion tons of CO2 were emitted to the atmosphere, which that means that we have to decarbonize first thing. So when I started our project, and I'm not going to speak about my project, but it's for the story, I think that the best way to tackle climate change is to supply and to help the biggest projects, the biggest technologies, the biggest solutions in the world for climate, and then scale them up, like carbon capturing, like many solutions, reforestation in some points. But basically, we have to decarbonize first, no? And travel supposes the 88% of the emissions worldwide, no? So carbon neutrality, it is something that obviously all of us, we have a carbon footprint. And basically, carbon neutrality is something that we have to achieve, and not only because we say so, it's because the IPCC, the biggest organization of experts on climate scientists around the world, they don't get paid for being of that part of that committee. They found out that the 2050 is too late for, let's say, avoiding that emissions that is going to take us over 1.5 degrees Celsius, that is going to generate potentially a 6 massive extinction at some point, no? There is no way of coming back to that. So basically, there is a regulatory framework that it makes that this path starts to move again, and obviously the kickoff is the Paris Agreement, no? 2015, the Bataclan terrorism attacks made that all the functionaries, all the ministries in climate were in Paris, all together in one room, and that was the real, let's say, moment where the decision of signing the Paris Agreement is being made. No? We had Christiana Figueres. We were very lucky to have Christiana Figueres in UNFCCC, the climate change organization inside the UN. I mean, obviously, you all know that. And from there, they signed the Paris Agreement. And Paris Agreement means that towards 2050, we have to achieve zero emissions. No? All the countries have to achieve zero emissions. And then the countries, obviously, will bring this to the companies. No? From there, we have regulation already in the European Union. We have the European New Green Deal, and we have other regulations that I'll show you later. And then we have all the ESG criteria in the companies. We have the non-financial reporting that I will explain now. And then all that is getting our lives in our companies progressively. ESG, obviously, it is already for some years, no? But now we have already the SDGs. Now it is coming some new regulation about the SDGs. But it's not only that we have that. It's that we have investors that are pushing the companies, are pushing the boards of the companies big time. And I can tell you because I'm with, normally we work with listed companies. And what we can see is that every time more is getting more radical. I mean, I don't know if I come from the investment side, and every 3 months, the companies need to report, obviously, results, and they want to report more and more and more results because their stock go up, and obviously we get more investors. That's going to start to get less important. Now it's going to be ESG, SDGs, and all what you do in the non-financial reporting and what you do for real is going to get more importance in terms of your quarterly results. It's not going to be money. It's going to be what you do in sustainability. So basically, the consumers also are prosumers, are not consumers anymore. Your consumers are going to decide which product is more sustainable, and if the competitor is more sustainable than you, they are going to buy the product from your competitor. And that's going to be radical. Sorry. And basically, the pandemic, what happened with the pandemic? The pandemic is a warning. Hey, the people, we had at least a small change of mindset of, hey, this could be a warning of what is about to come, no? And basically, 71% of citizens say that brands put profits before people during the crisis, they won't trust on them anymore, no? And that's what is happening, no? So let's see the carbon footprint, no? Let's see the carbon footprint of organization. And basically, how can we reduce that emissions? How we can decarbonize? We have the carbon markets in one side, voluntary, mandatory. In Europe, there is mandatory markets, UETS. This was created back in 1997, the voluntary. And then the mandatory markets oblige, or it is mandatory, as the word says, for the companies, more polluting companies like airplanes or airlines, to compensate the carbon footprint and some percentages, no? So basically, what you do, calculate your carbon footprint, you reduce, and then you compensate. And then you have 3 scopes. Scope 1 is because the emissions of your organization. Second is because the energy you generate. And there is a third scope that is important today. It is third parties, providers, but also customers. How do their customers travel, no? And what you can see, it is that basically, as we say that 8% of the travel industry, 8% of the emissions globally is dependent of the travel industry, what we have to see is that what is going to happen is that the companies are going to be around taking tickets of the emissions that they've been doing in the different services they are consuming. No? Imagine planes, imagine transportation, anything, Uber, Cabify, any company that the normal cab, they will have to issue the CO2 mark because you will have to make an accounting of the CO2 you are emitting as a corporate, and also as a citizen, you will demand that. So it is one concept that you have to have in mind, this carbon labeling. Every product or service that you consume is going to have a label on carbon from now on. No? So let's make a trip. Let's see how we can do this. No? So today, with Iberia and before the COVID, obviously one of the sponsors here, before the COVID, we won the Hangar 51 prize with Iberia, and then we implemented one carbon offsetting solution where obviously there is an exact calculation of the CO2 of the flight, and then we compensate that flight. No? I don't know how we can press here, if I can press or I can press the button. No, it doesn't work, the video. I don't know why. Anyways, so then we do the same with hotel rooms. We calculate the carbon footprint of the hotel room, and we can compensate the carbon footprint of that hotel room. And also, you can use loyalty points for doing that. Imagine Melia Rewards. We work with the group Melia. Now you can get in Melia Rewards. You can use your Melia Reward miles to offset your carbon footprint, selecting some projects worldwide. And you get a certificate customized for you. But we can do also this with locally in the cities. Whenever you arrive to a city, we can use a system to trace transactions to our origin. Then we can, at some point, also with Cabify. Today with Cabify, one of our customers, we trace real-time CO2 in every ride. And every month, as a corporate and soon as a citizen, you will receive a certificate the same way you receive an invoice. So you will receive a certificate for the CO2 of your ride. And then, why not sustainable urban mobility? Why don't we get rewards by using renewable mobility like Acciona, one of our partners, with the electric bikes, no? Or why don't we do carbon offsetting points in the airports, for example? I can calculate my flight and I can compensate. We are in different pilots for doing this also. And then another solution we're implementing in that path towards sustainability, we made an agreement with one of the leading companies in technology for carbon capture in the world. So we have one artificial tree with microalgae inside, modified genetically, that captures CO2, captures nitrogen and suspended particles. So we reduce emissions, but at the same time, we have healthier cities. No? And well, that's basically it. No? What we are trying to do is to help the corporations. We think that the corporations need to look around what all they are doing in the different aspects of their business, how they can interact with their customers, and how can their customers be part of the solution. No? I don't know but for example, this summer I was in Dominican Republic as a quarantine going to the US, and we were going to the beaches, and we couldn't swim because obviously the sargasso, I don't know if you heard about it, but it was all full of sargasso. Sargasso is an algae it was full. So it is a problem of all the garbage, all the poisons that we are throwing to the oceans, the temperature of the ocean that is bringing all this to the sea, no? To the front line. No? So we have a lot of threats, but we have also a lot of solutions. So what we have to do is to go and supply that solutions and support that solutions from the companies. And then do the things for real, not the things because I want to look like. We have to do the things for real. And we have to do the things because we believe in that things. And not only that, it's because really we know that that's something that is going to tackle climate change. No? Thank you so much.